I guess I just always wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be an illustrator. I love stories, but I hate reading. So I love picture books. That was sort of the direction I thought I wanted to go in originally. I just never stopped drawing and painting once I learned how to do that. I definitely had this idea that I couldn't be an artist and like serve God, because they didn't seem like they connected in any way in my mind. Nothing my parents or like anyone in our church ever said, you can't do this and be a Christian. But it was just like always sort of the implied like higher path to follow is the, missionary working overseas, or the doctor helping people, and art seemed very like selfish. That was something I like really struggled with. But at the same time, like, this is what I really feel passionate about. I think it took me a little while to just come to grips with the idea of like, God uses Christians in every field, not just missionary doctors. I feel called to use the gifts God's given me to draw and paint, and I also teach art. I feel like I need to, follow God with my whole life and in everything that I do, and my job just happens to be painting. The theme of the show is workspace. They're, for the most part, studios that I've worked in, spent a lot of time in. A lot of the studios were studios from when I was in college, and they would have been oftentimes like filled with lots of people working, and you could see all of their other easels and things set up everywhere. But I would often be there working when nobody else was there. The show in general was dealing with spaces where people should be, or where things should be happening, but at the moment nothing is. And so sort of dealing with like the human presence through its absence. Most of them are kind of dark. Partially they started out that way because at the point I was feeling very like lonely and isolated. But also I just really like high contrast, so part of that is a stylistic thing. Workspace 6. That one was maybe most challenging because that's when I actually was living by myself for like 3 months, and I didn't have a car to go anywhere. And I lived on campus working over the summer, and that's when I was working on this painting, and I at the same time was just feeling like this doesn't matter. Like I feel so disconnected from everybody and everything. So like not that it was like more challenging technically than anything else. Trying to stay motivated, I think, while I was painting, that was maybe the hardest. Like I do want the audience to feel like they're the person in the room when nobody else is, and just sort of question why nobody else is there, or like think about the situation that would be when you're there by yourself. I want my work to be something that people makes them stop and look at things closer, also that they enjoy. It's even something that just makes them put themselves in the studio and, take a minute to think about it, sort of stop and take a second look at something. I feel like that's some form of success right there.